Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bouk and Zoobie show on the world famous LIR.com, 927 LIR.com, and YouTube. I am John Kalaboukas, the Bouk, with my friend Paul Zubulake, Zubie. So we're back after a 1 month hiatus because there is just so much going on. So we absolutely had to jump back on.
That is true. We are back. It is a short-term welcome back, folks. And hopefully, people will be checking out this show and in the future when we get more back into a regular basis. Because, John, as you said, there's so much to get to because today is Monday. What's July 10th? Something
July.
big happened today, which we'll talk.
July. You said July.
No, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say July? November. I'm sorry. Did I say July? John,
We haven't been
that's
gone that long.
Did I say July? I apologize, folks. That says a lot. So I don't even know where to go from that point. But yeah, we're a little rusty, obviously. So that's the first thing I want to bring out. We're going to talk about everything in the tri-state area, of course, which there's just an abundance of things across every sport. We're going to get to as much as we can. Some crazy controversies. And we're just happy to be back, right, John? And looking forward to talking about some sports.
Yeah, and obviously the big thing today is in the NFL. Uh, Lieutenant Dan is probably the happiest person in the tri-state area today because his man Dabo was fired today.
John, I mean, just so to put a little context into when last time we spoke, right? So the Jets were 0-4. The Jets, as of today, November 10th, have a better record on a winning percentage basis than the New York Football Giants. And if we had a bet, John, 4 weeks ago, and we made that statement, we would have looked at each other and said, "You're insane." So I just, for Giant fans, like you said with Dan, there's just a relief. But still, John, I mean, this has been going on for a while with the cascade of mediocrity at the head coaching level. The GM somehow skates.
I can't believe it.
And that to me is the real big story with the firing of Dayball because he wasn't going to survive, obviously, any really bad year. He was just not going to, it wasn't going to happen. And I mean, the fact that they have the way that they have gotten to 2-8 is just, it really is remarkable.
That's and when you look at their games, because I've been watching their games, the Denver game, the Saints, the Cowboys, the game yesterday. I mean, this team could have easily have been at least 5-5, 6-4. Wow. I mean, just the way they've lost it, it's incredible.
And they
Choke
had
after
a,
choke.
right. Yeah, they've had a good amount of injuries as well. So they've had some bad luck.
Yeah.
But it's just when you're just in a rut and you're in an organization and there are so many, John, currently in the NFL that are just floundering as organizations.
Yes, they are.
And the Jets and the Giants in the tri-state area, I'm sorry folks, and we'll get to the Jets, don't worry. This is a really just a depressing situation where the organization itself, John, they just can't get out of their own way. Maybe it's ever since they opened up that tuna can stadium that they deserve the fate that they're going through, because they've just like it's really like you said, like the way they've lost, and but they just to me. The big picture is that they're just not on the same page about how you're supposed to build your team, and you bring in a young quarterback, and we talked about this, the risks of playing a rookie quarterback. And it's funny because I was watching yesterday as well for the how many weeks now, right, folks in the tri-state, Jets and Giants in the same time. You got to watch if you want to watch most of one game. You have to have another TV to watch the other one enough. And I didn't, so maybe I watched 60% of the snaps in the Bears Giants game. But Jackson Dart, he made some great throws, John, in this
Yes.
game.
Yeah.
And this is without Neighbors and Scatterboo, because let's face it, especially the Scatterboo injury just kind of
Oh,
like took the heart and soul out of the team. But he made some great plays. But at the same time, John, he's also made some awful throws. And this love affair of the OC, who is now the head coach, we should mention that Mike Kafka takes over, and this is what the infamous interim head coach. How many design runs did the Giants run, and how fitting design runs for Dart, and how fitting is that basically the whole season, which was already done already, but really when it has gone down the tubes on a quarterback design run where he fumbles the ball one, takes a concussion. What they said it was the fourth time he's been looked at for possible concussions. This is self-induced by him and the coaching staff. The kid's a rookie. He's too dumb. He just wants to prove he's a tough guy. We talked about this, John. What was the risk with Jackson Dart? The talent's there. It was that he wouldn't survive. And to see him take an injury in the last game. I mean, I almost think they should almost sit him down at this point because they just have to. They're going nowhere, and let Winston play maybe, and just they're not going to do that. But I mean, the kid needs to kind of take a break. That's my view on it.
well, and the fact is what several weeks ago, Dable, by the way, did get fined for interfering with them doing I mean, the
When they're in the blue
protocol.
tent, when
Yeah,
they had
yeah, the
Dart in the
protocol.
blue
He
tent,
interfered. He interfered, and he
which is
got
an
fined by the NFL. They just gave him the fine
and
because
that's
he's
one of the
getting fired.
reasons but John, that's one of the reasons he's getting fired because he's out of control on the sideline. He's out of control in his personality. He's a volatile guy. He tried to change. We've talked about this, folks. You go back and watch our old shows. I mean, we're obviously Jet fans, but we do talk about the Giants. And John, I don't know how many times we talked about, like I kept on saying to you, like, John, how can Brian Daboll survive? And it's finally here, folks. It's over.
Yeah, well, this, like I said, there's so many things that you could point to. I mean, and really, when you see the way they lost those games, all of those games, they played beautifully for what, 3.5 quarters in some of these, and I'm like, what the hell happened? Listen, I'm not a Giant fan, as you know, and everyone knows, but you know what? I actually like watching. They're a pretty exciting team to watch.
They're
And I tell
entertaining,
you,
definitely.
entertaining, right?
Yes.
Even with your man Scatterboo there, it's too bad he got injured. He was really entertaining too. But just the way they collapsed, I mean, it was almost like they didn't know how to kick, they didn't know how to tackle, they didn't. I don't know what they were doing these games. Just especially the Denver game, man, that was crazy. That was
Well,
crazy.
I'll tell you, John, we're going to get around the league because one of the great things about maybe not talking every week is that you get to pot, like all the things that have happened. And I'm telling you, John, this NFL season is just a great season because it is one wide open,
Yes, it is.
and a lot of new teams, right? You look at the top of the standings. If the season ended today, hypothetically, the top seeds are Seattle and the Colts.
And
Who had that?
and the Patriots.
And the Pats too, right? They're right. Yeah, they're also there, right? So
Yeah,
it's right. There's a lot of teams that are like the Colts and the Pats are both 8-2, right? So
yeah.
and the Seahawks are 7-2. So to talk about this stuff when everybody hasn't had their bye yet is we have to even out the records. That will happen in the next couple of weeks. We'll get to around the league because it's again another. It's really interesting what's happened. So because we're going to be we have so much to get to. We got to get to the other side of town, John, where since the last time we spoke, and if this, I mean, talk about entertainment. There is nothing more entertaining, not on the product on the field. It's not that. It is the off the field stuff between the fan base that is haunted from little kids going on, getting like these videos viral about how like they're Jet fans and they hate the team, and how their parents do this and get them, famous for that. I mean, there's been numerous things about that. So you have this tortured fan base that was sitting at 0-7. And John, I am telling you, if you have, and for the people out there who have listened and watched our show over the last few years since we've been on, it's been pretty consistent about what my view is on the Jets, right, John?
Yeah.
And what was it? Is that when they made this move, it was and this is not many people were saying this, let's face it, this was a long-term rebuild. Not a 1 to 2 year, you could do it in the NFL. No, this was a 3 to 5 year rebuild, which I had said on numerous occasions. So what happens in a 3 to 5 year rebuild? Year one, you tear it down. And boy, have they teared it down with the trades that they've made. Second area is going to be that forever, it's year two, we still need a quarterback after 55 years.
Yeah.
So next year becomes year one of looking for that quarterback. Then what do? You get into year three when the rookie quarterback, or believe it or not, a quarterback that's taken in 27, not 26. It is a real possibility, John,
Yeah.
where you're in year three with the rookie quarterback, but you've been building the base of your team. You have not signed free agents. And that's the other piece I want to get to. And then what happens in that year three? This is why they probably should take a rookie quarterback next year on the 3 to 5 year plan. Because if you wait that extra year, it's looking more like 4 to 6, and that one you don't get to the sixth year. So that will happen in year three. You look at respectability, and then you start in year four. You start spending money that you have been accumulating on the salary cap. And that in year four, you're making your big move when your rookie is in his second or third year. Second year. And you use, because he's got a salary that is something that you can handle, right? The old, like, you want to win on the rookie quarterback. And then that's what you end up doing. And then by year five, you're hopefully in the Super Bowl. So that is your dream scenario. So what has happened since we last spoke is that a coach and a GM who, let's face it, John, were in hot water in their first 7 games, somehow miraculously run into a Bengals team who maybe might have the worst defense in the history of the NFL, win that crazy game where the coach thinks he thinks he's Weeb Eubank by going for 2 points, and at both times I'm like, what is he doing? To now being the king of analytics because they were lucky enough to make both of them. And let's get back to that 2 point conversion by Isaiah Davis. I think he made it by that much, John, or was that much? So Aaron Glenn, who would have been a GOAT if they somehow lost that game too, has suddenly changed with that win. And this past Sunday's win against, let's face it, another just disastrous organization, John,
terrible
with
team.
a kid who's playing quarterback who obviously should not be playing quarterback in the NFL. And because only, John, the Jets special teams have been great all season, except for some issues earlier in the year. And they end up winning their second in a row. And now, on that side, the football side in 2025, people are optimistic. The coach could be the long-term answer. And I'm sitting there going, this is unbelievable. So I know I'm dominating this conversation, but let me just get this last part out. While the coach is doing that, the GM, and I'm telling you, the coach is definitely part of this, right, John? Because he's got a tremendous amount of power in the organization. They evaluated their own roster, and they realized guys like Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner were both overrated players. And playing in New York, it's part of it. And we talked about both of them numerous times. Now, even though I thought Quinnen just really played well this year, but they really realized that they could actually get draft assets for these guys, and they stuck to their guns and they made two potentially franchise-changing moves that could finally change it all for Jet fans. All right. So that's that part. Except the other part about that is the brilliance of Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji is, John, when you make a move like that, what do you get? Job security. And that's the scary part. So are we just locking in the inevitable long term where the GM won't pick the right players, or
Ugh.
will actually panic and package some of these picks for to move up and take a player who bombs? And will the coach end up just being a mediocre head coach? So Jet fans, year one in the rebuild is here. I hope. I don't know if Bouk and Zoobie are going to be around in 2029, John, but that's the plan. And let's see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, and the big thing is that, like you said, they got. I couldn't believe the haul they got for Quinn. I mean, that was. I don't know what Jerry Jones was doing there, but geez, he gave away the store for him, for a guy
Well,
who clearly is overweight. Uh, Plays what, as you say, 75% maybe of the snaps, if
well,
that.
that this is his all-time high this year. He's actually played a lot. I think he even got over 80% of the game. So credit to
Wow.
Aaron Glenn for getting him, and Wilkes for getting him out there. He's actually played well this year.
Yeah,
To
no,
me,
yeah.
I think I go the other way. I
Oh,
agree
well,
with
with
you on
Sauce.
Williams. Right. I agree with
Yeah,
you
I
on
mean, we got
Williams. Yeah.
great assets for Sauce too. I mean,
I mean,
you talk about
Gardner,
someone who's
John,
really overrated and
if the
overpaid. They got rid of a
exact
lot of money there with both of those trades.
so now the Jets are sitting with a mountain of salary cap. And this is something I'm going to be watching this coming up off season, because everyone's like, oh, why didn't they trade Brees Hall and Quincy Williams? They better not lose them, right? But the other part of this, and everyone talks about it because it's a compensatory formula, right? It gets very complicated where if you sign free agents, you don't get these compensatory draft picks that a lot of good franchises accumulate over time by letting their better players kind of like let them go right when they're kind of like peaking, where they can get compensatory picks back and then they save money as well. The Jets have always been on the other side of that conversation,
Yeah.
always spending free agency money. I'm afraid for them to spend money in free agency. To me, sign some of the players that you have under contract that you want to build around, and then maybe not spend as much. So when Quincy Williams signs a contract in the offseason, maybe you will get that pick back. You maybe because it's the following year. Most people say, oh, the Jets are going to spend a lot of money. I'm not convinced they're going to spend a lot of money in 26, John. 27, 28, they're going to have to be because hopefully they're in position to actually
Mhm.
become a respectable franchise. So, I don't know what other GMs are doing, and I mean, obviously they have people who are watching the film and watching the games. I don't see how Gardner in maybe in a perfect situation is he going to put them over the top, the Colts? And that's what's so funny, John. Did you watch any of the Atlanta game against the Colts on the
I
early
did.
game?
No, I didn't even realize it was on until I was trying to find that game and I just saw the highlights where they kicked the field goal. I couldn't find the game.
So I'm like I'm watching this game for two reasons. One, as Jet fans, we want the Colts to lose as much as possible to make that first rounder as high as possible. And one, ultimately, I was there to watch Sauce Gardner. And I'm like, can I get lucky where Sauce will show his true colors? And John, I am telling you, this was absolutely hysterical. I think it was in the second quarter. He played well. He had a good game. It was like a third down and 8 play. Penix goes back. He's throwing it kind of not in the direct flat, but like 8 yards out on the sidelines to London, the top receiver. Sauce reads it, John. He jumps the route. John, he's right there to make the interception.
And he
And what
drops it.
happened?
I dropped it.
Boom! Right into his chest. The ball bounces into the air. He hits it again up in the air and it falls to the ground. And I'm telling you that I wish you were watching it, and maybe somehow you can go watch that on somewhere on YouTube or anywhere on the internet. And the thing about Sauce Gardner that only Jet fans know, he has literally the worst hands I've ever seen for a top player that you would notice. Because most guys who do stuff like that, they always joke, right? Oh, that's why he's playing defense because he can't catch, right? That's the old joke, right? When you see D-backs drop the ball. So Sauce had a pretty good game. They pulled it out, John. I mean, they were kind of lucky to pull it out. Atlanta is another one of these organizations, is a disaster. I mean, Morris is going to get canned. They have Jeff Olbrock is their defensive coordinator. They easily could have won that game. Daniel Jones had a couple of fumbles. Again, he's fumbling when he gets hit again, John. So that kind of like goes into like around the league where we already mentioned the top teams. It's a shock. It is a shock. 2025 NFL season. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that a million times. And of course, whoever was probably announcing the game was saying, "Oh, he broke up the pass." Instead
Don't
of
worry,
saying,
he did not mention. Yeah, he had no idea that Sauce Gardner is literally. I think he's had one career interception or two, and this is his fourth season.
"Stone
And it's
hands."
just he has absolutely no hands. So that is something to watch as the season progresses. I like Sauce Gardner. I have nothing against the kid. I mean, he wanted to be a Jet. They got an offer they couldn't refuse. I mean, Quinnen wanted out. I mean, the problem with the overall situation, right, John, for old Jet fans is we've seen this so many times. And I mean, how can you not I mean, you can't complain when you've got 5 first rounders in the next 2 years, and I think 3 seconds. They have 8 premium picks, and I really hope they select 8 players and not
That's the whole thing.
package.
That's the whole thing.
And because that's what this franchise needs. They need to hit on 7 of the 8 in the drafts. They can't miss. And if they do it, and then let's give Glenn. You got to give the guy some time. You can't. This whole idea of firing after 1 year was always stupid, John. And I knew they were going to start winning some games when everybody was talking about 0-17 and 1-16. I'm like, I've seen this before. This is the same stuff I've seen. The Jets will win some games. They won't be in position to take a quarterback that everybody thinks is the best, but it doesn't matter because them themselves, John, they can't miss now. This franchise is on like life support. I mean, and they've got 2 drafts to somehow change it. And for a guy like Woody Johnson, I have to give Woody Captain Chaos a little credit that he let them do it, because next year, John, if they don't draft a quarterback in 26 and they roll Justin Fields out, as a backup, he's going to be the backup next year because he is just terrible. I mean, we don't even want to get to the game. I guess there's one thing in the game that I do want to mention, and it's another one of these things about you pay guys and what happens. So Garrett Wilson, John, did you see the play when he got hurt? Did you see the play?
Yes.
When you watch that play, were you surprised he decided that he was doing what do you do like when you on a boat when you put your knees on the board and you take it it's not I don't want to say boogie boarding, but they're like, why was he sliding on his knees? Did you notice what happened when he got hurt?
Yeah, I don't
Why
know what
did
he
he
was
do
doing.
that?
I have no idea what he was doing.
So he can't get the ball, but then he decides he wants to do this cool landing because the turf was a little wet, so he thought he could slide. And the next thing you know, the guy's limping on the side.
Hey, one thing I have to say
Yes.
is you have to give credit for the number of Jet fans that were in that mess of a day watching that game in the stands.
Well, there weren't many. There were, I don't know. But yeah, for the people who go, I'm always sympathetic to those people because I was one of them. And John, it is amazing. But yeah, there were a lot of empty seats in that.
Yeah, there were.
And the Browns are just, how about the way the game ended? they jump offside, like doing a jet maneuver after a really ticky-tack penalty on the third and long. I really wanted to see the Browns at least get a shot there. But yeah, the Jets offense, John. I mean, it's just, I
uh,
mean, talk
if it
about
wasn't for
inept.
Brees Hall, if it
Oh,
wasn't for
forget it.
Brees, and
Yeah, we can
again,
talk about him quickly.
my opinion is they need to sign this man. He's
Well,
the one good thing about that offense.
I think we said that on our last show. We were saying, like, how about go out and make a statement and extend him, not just
Right,
try to franchise
right,
tag him where he's
right.
unhappy. How about giving him an extension? Why not? He's one of the top. He's probably one of the top 10 backs in the league.
Oh,
I can't put
easily.
him in the top higher than that, but he's in that category. I think. I mean, it's just the way they use him. But John, there's just whew,
It's a,
there's a lot of holes to fill, man.
there's a lot
It's
of holes.
and that's why it's a 3 to 5 year rebuild. And fans just better just sober up to that fact and just see how it plays out. And then the guys are trying, so that's good. Glenn is getting them working hard, and they've unearthed a few guys that can help them. Obviously, the special teams have been great. So that's good to see, and they've cut down on the penalties. They're still committing some, but
Yeah.
there is improvement. But this is nothing to get. I mean, if they're going to try to sell us in the offseason on some sort of excitement, I mean, they're going to have to draft a rookie quarterback, John. And, that's when we'll obviously have our draft show next year. But, there's a long way to go with these quarterbacks that are coming out this year because every one of them can go back to school pretty much. That's worthwhile taking. The guys who are automatically coming out is really pretty thin, but the guys, and there's about 5 of them that we just don't know if they're coming out. So either next year's draft is going to be incredible at QB, or this they're going to split it. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into the names. I mean, people should be watching the college football playoff. I'll mention Ty Simpson, and Fernando Mendoza. I guess that's the ones who get the most talk, and the kid from Oregon, Brooks. I think it's Brooks, right? Oh, no, is that his name? I think it's Brooks. But anyway, he's another. But they're saying he's going back. I'm not even talking about this stuff. Let's see the college football playoff. Let's see who comes up big, and then we'll talk about the draft next year.
Yeah, and the hope is when they do select a quarterback that maybe they actually stick with him. I mean, you keep looking at Sam Darnold, how it took him a couple of years to mature, but he's been doing a great job since he left the Jets and also Carolina. But
Well, those are 2 bad organizations, John. Carolina's have always been a mess. I mean, they don't have the history like the Jets mess. There's a lot to be said. I mean, I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I always liked Sam Darnold.
yeah,
But the
I like him
NFL's
too.
fickle, John.
I don't know why they didn't stick with him. I mean, he was so much better than Wilson was. And it's funny, they had during the Lions Redskins, Commanders, they had Donald Trump on because he was at the game, and they actually had him announcing with uh, Jonathan Vilma and Marv Albert's son, Kenny Albert.
Kenny.
So he was on with them for about 8 to 9 minutes. So
Was
they
that
were
game on
asked.
TV? I wasn't watching. Was it on
He was on
TV?
TV. Oh yeah, he was part of that game.
Oh, it was
And
the night game. Was it the Sunday night game? Is that what it was?
yeah, and he was. It was very interesting because he was saying, that he was a Jet fan, and he goes, the days of, Joe Namath had the arm. He goes, the Jets are having a couple of problems. He goes, Woody's a good guy. He's a friend of
Did he say
mine.
that?
Yeah, you got to see. If you go on YouTube, it's actually pretty funny what he
Yeah,
was
no, I
saying
was
about the
not. I was
Jets.
watching college hoops last night, not the NFL. So I did
Yeah,
miss the president on. Hey, he's a sports fan. That's good. A Jet fan part. I don't know. Okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. So yeah, crazy. I mean,
he
yeah,
said Jets
yes.
Giants because he knows the Tishes too. So
Oh, he's the president name dropping it. So he's good at that. So
yeah,
yeah, well the Tishes definitely made some decisions with the Maras. We know John Mara's been sick. Hopefully he's doing better. But for the Giant fans and the Jet fans, I mean the everybody, it's a spin machine, John, on sports talk. The ups and downs of the people who do this for a living, I just find comical, and that they can't be just consistent on anything. You can't be telling me that you're going to fire Aaron Glenn after 6 or 7 games, and then now after 9 games, it's suddenly different. It's like, just like you said, give it a chance. And the rookie quarterback who comes to this organization, give them a chance.
Yeah.
And it's just we're in a quick mentality society where everybody wants instant gratification, and it's burning the Giants. And they better get this together with Dart. I'm telling you, they better protect them. And then next year, if the Jets do take a quarterback, they better surround the kid with some
Right.
players,
Yeah.
unlike what they did for Darnold.
And
They
protect them
got the
too.
right, everything. And you just have, it's a team game, John. Football is an ultimate team game. You need everything. So the bright spots, the kicking game, the return game, the little things. So there's just, but otherwise, the defense. Okay, I guess we give a hat tip to Will McDonald, who got out of witness protection and had a huge game. So it's about piling that up, right? Stacking it up. That's what they say in sports, right? Stack the performances, McDonald, not just come one great game and then disappear for 4. So we'll just see how they mature. We'll watch them the rest of the year. They'll win a few more. They'll probably be picking between 5th and 8th, where they always are. When we bring Alex, our draft guru, in next year, we'll probably be talking a lot of Jets, right, John?
Oh, yeah.
So, as always, with the Bouk and Zoobie show, we want to thank everybody quickly watching us on YouTube.com. This is going to be kind of a one-off. I'm going in for shoulder surgery, John, this week, so I will be on the injured list. So there's every league has a different way of describing it, LTR, whatever you want to call it. But we hope, and people stick with us, because we hope to be back a lot more in the future. YouTube.com, Spotify.com, and of course our friends at the world famous LIR.com, 927 LIR.com, and probably wondering, why is this old episode on the website? So hopefully people will be happy, right, John, that we are doing a show. That's all, I guess, with the NFL, because we got to get everywhere, right? So I'm gonna, if that's okay, because we got to go quick. I'm gonna throw it out to you, which we used to do on our shows after the football segment.
Well, one thing in the NFL,
Go for it. Only one.
Former commissioner Paul Tagliabue
Passed away. Right, he did. So yes, there was, and of course we have to mention Nick Mangold as well, of course, because we think we've talked about, because personally. We've talked about Nick numerous times, and we definitely should mention that. Obviously, being longtime Jet fans, really one of the all-time great Jets, right, John? I mean, still involved, 4 kids, awful. And he lived relatively close to where I lived, and he was in the hospital when he died. So it's kind of has not gotten out there really, but it's a crazy story. He got an infection, and he had a donor, and it's really sad what's happened. So everybody out there, I know we're obviously condolences to the Mangold family and the Tagliabue family. So I'm glad you brought that up.
It's sad, because 41 years old. My only question I think everyone knew this for a little while, but I don't understand why it just came out now. If he would have maybe, let everyone know, I need a kidney, maybe they could have gotten him one more quickly. I don't know. I don't know the way it was handled.
It's we're speculating, and probably we shouldn't, but like I said, it was an infection, so this was something that got out of control, and where he was hospitalized. So we don't want to speculate on that, because it's strange. I mean, that's the first thing. Oh, it's horrible. But when it comes to medical advice, and it's sometimes getting more opinions is never a bad thing. Maybe that's a lesson learned here. So like I said, I'm glad you mentioned that, and Godspeed to him and his family. All right. So how do we go? All right. So now I'm going to throw it out there. So I'm going to throw. Let's go winter sports because we got to discuss both of them, and I'm sure you're going to head to the hardwood, right? You're going to go NBA. We won't spend a ton of time on the NBA or the NHL, but what we'll do is talk about the teams that we root for, and of course, since you are the dedicated New York Knickerbocker fan, what is the Books view? How many games into the season are we? 10?
Nine, nine.
9? Okay. So what do you think? I know it's obviously a small sample size, but it's enough sometimes. What do you think?
Um, it's I'm going to say the offense is definitely moving more. I mean, it's really run and gun here. Uh, he's Brown is definitely using his bench a lot more, but then again, his bench is a lot better than it was last year. I mean, you have Clarkson, who is just a speed demon. I mean, this guy is fast. The fact that you have Hart coming off the bench, um, some of the other guys haven't really clicked yet. I forgot this guy's name that we got from the 76ers, a big guy. Um,
Yabusele?
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Not doing much at all. It's already not even really in the rotation. The fact that they're using Robinson, and I like the way they're using Robinson. They use him maybe 15 minutes a game, take him in and out. I think they're making good use. I'm just a little bit worried about their defense. That, with all this running and gunning, are they getting back on defense? Now, they played a great game against Minnesota. I mean,
Yeah.
that game was close, and then they just blew them out after that. So,
Yeah, the Minnesota's a top team, definitely.
yeah, they've actually looked good against some of the top teams. We'll see how they do on the road down. Now, because they've had the luxury of being at home, and they're 6-0 at home, and they're 0-3 on the road. Let's see if they can continue this on the road. But right now, I'm withholding judgment just because I'm very wary of the defense. Towns cannot play defense. We know that. The fact is if when Robinson's on the court with him, he hides a lot of mistakes. I mean, he's just not quick on his feet at all. Same thing with Brunson. He's just not quick on his feet. But again, Anunoby's there to cover up. Bridges is there to cover up. So it's not a bad team. They're not a bad team.
All right. So you're optimistic.
I'm optimistic with hedging a little bit about the defense.
Right. Well, and also being a Knick fan and not exactly a franchise that has been regularly winning championships fits perfectly into the Bouk and Zoobie show. All right. So I watched a little bit of the Knicks. Um, it's interesting because you're right. They have made some changes, but ultimately, right, the core is the same.
Yeah,
And are they just good enough to get over the top? So it's going to be a good year, and they should be in that Final Four talk
I
again,
think
just
so.
like last year, right? They really should, because I mean, unfortunately, because of the injuries, the Tatum and Halliburton. I mean, Indiana's off to a terrible start,
Yeah.
so they're in big trouble. But yeah, so all right, so that's the Knicks story. That's so. What about just quickly around the league? Any team that is surprising you?
No, I mean it's the usual. Oklahoma City finally lost their first game, but the Rockets look great. I mean, I think I spoke about them last year and the year before, how long they are. Detroit looks very good. I mean, the same teams that did well last year um, are doing well this year. So there's not too many surprises from what I see at all. The only thing is Dallas has not started off well at all, and I expected Dallas to be somewhat in the playoff. You know, I mean
So
it's
have
early
you
in this.
seen? I've only seen highlights of Cooper Flag. Have you watched any enough of a Maverick game to check him out, or
No, just highlights. He,
just
he's
highlights? Right.
he's actually been playing pretty well for them.
Okay.
It's the rest of the team. I mean, you don't have Irving around. You
He
don't
certainly.
have, just a. It has to be one of the worst trades of all time. The fact that Davis is what else injured again. I mean, it's just amazing. What a dumb trade. What a dumb trade. I just shake my head with them.
Oh, it's the Luka
When you
trade.
have Dirk Nowitzki trashing his former team, you know there's a problem there.
All right. Well, I don't know how we got talking about the Mavs. Well, yeah, Cooper Flag. Have you checked out my guy VJ Edgecombe? He got off to a crazy start.
Yeah.
Has leveled off a little bit, but is a good all-around player. The Sixers got a gem there, John.
Oh yeah. Well, the funny thing is when I was at the St. John's game, my my wife, who attended for the first time ever, I found out a basketball game. I figured before we started dating, maybe she went to she's never been to a basketball game. And the first question she asked me is, whatever happened to that guy that left St. John's? And I'm trying to think. I said, what, R.J. Lewis? She goes, yeah, the kid that helped them out. I said, well, he was drafted, he was traded to the Celtics, and now he's in the G League or some
Yeah,
minor league. I
yeah,
mean,
the
it's
G
just
League.
amazing. He's just fallen off the map, making less than $500,000 a year with them.
He could have made a lot more than that in the college hoops.
A lot more.
All right. So let's do a little zag. We'll zag out of the NBA because, like we said, it's there's so much to get to. We want to make sure we get to
Oh
everything.
wait, one thing
What?
I want to mention about the NBA, we
Okay.
we can't
Yes.
we okay.
No,
We're
no, we'll
talking.
get to that. No, we'll get to
Oh,
that subject
okay,
later. We'll get to that later.
okay,
That
okay,
gets that subject that John was heading to is like its own subject because it crosses
okay,
over a couple of
okay.
subjects. So because we've got to talk quickly about college basketball.
Yes.
What way too early, but as you mentioned, you and the missus went to the Alabama St. John's game. I did see most of that game. It turned out to be like such a beautiful day. I'm like, I cannot stay in all day. So I did watch the first half and then kind of got back into the second half. We both were texting. I mean, my view. They don't have a point guard, John. Um, they got tons of talent, but they don't have a distributor. It's a big problem for Coach Pitino. What do you think?
I agree with you. If Darling that we spoke about, well, we
Devin
texted
Darling, is it
about,
Devin, right?
I
Is it
don't know
Devin
his first
Darling?
name.
I think it's Devin. Anyway, whatever his name is. Darling.
That's your point guard right
Is
there.
he your okay? So he played
The
the
reason
first
why
game.
I'm saying is because I actually went, unfortunately, but I had to, the opening game at Carnesecca, which again, I will tell everyone, don't go see a game there because if you're above 5'6", your knees are going to be hitting the back of someone's head or the back of their seat. It is the worst place to sit. Great place to watch basketball, but the worst place to sit and watch a game. So I went to go see the game against Quinnipiac, which I heard that they're supposed to be the top ranked team in their division or their conference.
Their conference, yeah.
It was there was no contest at all. I mean, it was like watching a bunch of 5-year-olds with a college team. I mean, we totally destroyed them. But this guy Darling was pass first, shoot practically never, even though he was a top scorer with the Big Sky Conference or something they
Yeah,
call it.
from Idaho State. Yes,
Right.
Idaho State.
But he was distributing the ball beautifully in that game.
Wow.
Beautifully. Oh yeah, he was. That's your point guard right there.
Well, that's big news. And I told you how disappointed I was that he didn't play. I mean, I can't believe he took an injury in that game, obviously, right? So, or in practice.
He's had a walking boot for a week.
Okay.
And he's probably not going to play this weekend either. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
I'm not going to bother. I mean, why would you use him against William and Mary? That's going to be another blowout. So,
right.
but that's your point guard. But a couple of observations from that game is Alabama's guards. Wow, are they fast? These guys were like little bullets. I'm watching each one of them. I think they scored like 65 points amongst the three of them.
Yeah, they're good.
Fast. They had great outside 3-point shooting. Um, our people couldn't keep up with them. And the other thing is this kid Jackson that was playing for St. John's is just a little bit out of control for my taste, taking wild shots from the outside. And I'm saying, didn't even give a chance for his team to get down the court. He's just shooting it up. So Zubi Ejiofor totally disappeared in the second half. I don't know why they never got the ball down low to him. I mean, I think he had 21 points at halftime.
He had a great first half, right?
Yeah. And then what
Yeah.
happened? It's Patino, I think, sat him out for almost 8 or 9 minutes of the second half. So he came in with like 8 minutes to go in the second half. And I'm saying, where? And I kept saying to my wife, where is Zuby right now, other than in New Jersey? Where's Zuby?
I know.
And
I did notice that because Ruben Prey was out there. I know he hit a few threes, but he was out there for him, right? So
yeah,
that was a
yeah, he
little
was.
strange.
Yeah, a little strange
I
there.
yeah, I didn't watch it from tip to tip, tip to end, so it's a little hard. But Alabama's a good team. St. John's a good team. They've got a lot of interesting games. They're playing in this Vegas tournament at the end of November,
Yeah.
where us, again, Baylor, St. John's, John, again will meet. St. John's looking for revenge. I'll just quickly mention, since we're homers here, my two teams besides St. John's, Baylor got off to a little nice start, beat Washington last night. Nobody cares, Paul. They looked actually better than I thought. They have one big injury. They got to get this guy back. I won't mention it. And the Maryland Terrapins lost to Georgetown. They look bad. Um, Buzz Williams' first game because Willard went to Villanova, who also lost. So John, it's so early. It's kind of, we just wanted to mention because really you went to the game. So I did want to mention the Johnnies. It's like crazy to even talk about college hoops before the new year. So we'll talk a lot more about that next year.
Over
So
17,000 for that game.
the
Almost.
crowd was loud, John. Very.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going. We're going to a few games. Yeah, no, it's it'll be so interesting to see them play with Darling because I was laughing when I'm seeing Dylan Mitchell bring up the ball. I'm like, I know him. He's been around forever. And I'm like, he's not a distributor. So,
No.
all right. So if Darling's the answer, that's going to be huge for them because they got some players, John. It's just a matter of can they share the ball. And this is like rampant throughout the whole country, John. There's tons of teams that have new players that are just getting used to playing with each other. So you
Yeah.
really can't judge much at this point, besides the fact, again, that there's a good amount of quality teams that could go to the Final Four. So I probably would say almost 20 to 30 possibilities. So looking forward to it. I love college hoops. Anything else you got in that whole range of basketball, if you want to throw it out there? Unless you want to
No.
talk about the gambling now, you want to do that, or how about we'll do NHL gambling, and then the
Baseball.
off-season Met plans will end. How does that sound?
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
We'll do a little NHL. The Rangers, who have played more than the Knicks, are doing one of the most. It's just the most bizarre thing, John. Sitting here where it's like there's two teams on the road and at home. I don't. I just. It's almost impossible to believe. I believe it's 5 out of 7 home games they've been shut out. So I think they got 1 point at home. It's just incredible. And then on the road, they've got the best record in the league. So that leaves them obviously in the middle of the pack. So this is a team, the core, just like the Knicks, the core is pretty much the same. Panarin, Zibanejad, Fox, Trocheck, who's been hurt, Lafreniere, right? Just to go through the names. They obviously got rid of, and of course, the guy goes out and he has like, what is it, Chris Kreider has like 9 goals already, something crazy. The GM is in huge hot water with the Ranger fans. And this guy survives. He's firing coaches left and right. He's trading, literally an all-time Ranger away, driving some other guys out. And he's got a team that has a good coach. That's the good news.
Yeah.
But their core guys, they just are just maybe not good enough. So they did make a move today. They brought up their, Gabe Perot, their number one pick from a few years ago, blah, blah. Was in the minors. He's up tonight. They're playing Nashville as we speak. Um, they just have to start scoring at home. So this will give them a little more offense. They can kind of shift guys down who are playing in the top lines down a little bit. Cooley is the one guy to bring up. Poor Matt Rempe, who was off to a good start, ends up having his first fight of the year, and against Ryan Reeves, one of the most tough guys. And Rempe really cannot fight he's not even though everyone thinks he's like a goon, he can't even fight good, and he almost gets killed. But I think he broke his hand because somehow in the NHL you get away without telling what the injuries are to your players. So they put him on long-term IR today. So Matt Rempe's going to be out a long time. The Rangers in this weird spot, John. It's like, I don't want to, because there's some hope there because they've played so well on the road and they're much more structured, much more defensively um, just organized. So there is hope there, and they still have Igor and Jonathan Quick in goal. So I still have hope. Too early, just like the Knicks. But I mean, this is not obviously a Stanley Cup Final Four type of team like the Knicks should be. So unfortunately, the Rangers are probably not going to add to the joy, John, and it'll just be another non-Stanley Cup year for the Rangers.
It's funny, when we were leaving Madison Square Garden, we started seeing the Ranger fans and Islander fans coming in on the train the opposite way
Yeah.
because they had it that night. And when the Islanders ended up beating them, what, 5-0 in that game?
Yeah. I think there was two empty netters, but yeah,
Yeah,
they dominated them. They beat them. There's actually the Rangers had beat the crap out of them last year, and the Islanders got revenge. Yeah, we should
yeah.
mention them quickly because hey, they've probably got the best young player in the tri-state now with Matthew Schneider, who looks great as on defense for the Isles. So we don't talk a lot of hockey on our show, but as always, when it's playoff time, we will,
Yeah.
and hopefully. I mean, the Devils off to a good start. We'll throw them out there for those few people who are Devil fans out there. We just hope we get playoff teams out of all the winter sports. The Brooklyn Nets don't count, John. We're not even gonna. We're definitely not gonna mention them.
Well, the Brooklyn Nets actually do have some really young talent, but you're talking about 19, 20-year-olds that are going to take years to develop. So,
How does Sean Mark still have his job? That's my one thought on the Nets, but that's
yeah,
amazing how
yeah.
that guy. Anyway,
They
yeah,
tore
like I
down that
said,
team. They tore down that team.
anyway, they stink. All right, so we before we get to the off-season Mets plan that Bouk has been thinking about for weeks because he should be the GM, not Stearns. We got to get to this subject about, I don't know, maybe the dumbest people on earth, athletes in professional sports who are think they're smart enough to be able to fix a prop bet and nobody will notice. What do you got, John?
Like you said, some of the dumbest people alive. Uh, let's talk about basketball first. So you have Chauncey Billups, you have Rozier betting. I mean, just some crazy stuff with gamble. Let's just talk
So it's
about gamble.
different subjects. All right,
No,
hold
no,
on, yeah.
but still, it's still gambling.
And they're
I'm going to
dumb.
put on the
Go,
subject of gambling.
and they're
Okay,
dumbness. Yes, go.
okay,
But they are different. Yes.
okay. So these two guys, are they poor? Have they never made any money in the NBA? Have what I don't understand is you guys have made a ton of money. Why would you get involved with the mafia, stealing people's money, card games? I mean, I'm telling you, I always turn to my wife. I said, athletes have to be the dumbest people alive. I just can't understand them. Time after time, they have the NBA has all their players going through training, we'll call it, with about gambling, about investing their money, staying away from loose women, all this stuff. Do you think any of them follow it? No, none of them do. So you have these two dummies that are now could be facing jail time. That's one. Let's put that aside. But the two really dumbest people have to be Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, who were both pitchers for the Cleveland, I keep calling them Indians, Cleveland Guardians. And what's stupid about this? Clase, for people who don't know who he is a closer for the Guardians, and actually a very good closer for them.
Right.
Has he made millions? He has. Last year, he made $7 million. Okay. He has 3 more years of his contract that he was going to go up, I think, 8, 9, $10 million. Okay. Guaranteed. Baseball, it's guaranteed. He gets hurt, he still gets paid. What does this dumbbell go and do? He's texting people that he knows to bet on what type of pitch he's going to throw, and he does it while he's in the dugout. He's doing it from the dugout, texting people on his phone or calling them on his phone, telling them, "Are you ready?" And meanwhile, they're betting on how fast his pitch was going to be. Will it be a ball or a strike? Just amazingly stupid stuff. And what did these bettors make? About $450,000. What did he make off of it? They say that there was one pitch that he actually had someone place a bet on $100,000, and he was playing against the Dodgers, and it was against Andy Paez, who's an outfielder for the Dodgers. And he bet that he was going to throw the pitch for a ball out a certain speed and this type of pitch. Put $100,000. So it was supposed to be a ball. Paez swung at it, and it was a strike. He lost $100,000. The idiot.
Well, because you know why, John? Because nobody realized that Paez also was doing probably the same thing, and he was betting that he would strike out.
You know,
John,
this is Paul. This is the problem. We've spoken about it. I know I make everyone sick that I was talking about it, but this is what's going on. And then on top of it, there was an article about players being threatened that if they blew a save or they gave up runs or they didn't get a hit, and they have fans threatening their families now. You made me lose the bet, die. This is what happens with gambling. The mafia they're just so happy that all of the states are so stupid enough to say, "Oh, let's legalize it." Because guess what? They have their hand in all of this. Please. You don't think, "Oh, well, we legalize it, so now the bad people are going to be out of it." They're in it even more now. They can't believe the stupidity of the American public.
Well, the thing is, John, if you're going to really try to fix a game and make money, you have to bet it illegally. The legal sports books, the DraftKings and the rest of them, right? FanDuel, you can go on forever, right? You see all the commercials; it's nonstop. Those folks, you could, who started these companies and who they are, et cetera, whatever. It's a rabbit hole. I'm not going down. But if you think that you can manipulate games, prop bets, you're an idiot because they all are in concert together. There is algorithms looking at every bet out there that is being bet on, And they know when something is strange, when suddenly you have nobody betting something, and suddenly one day there's $150,000 bet on something. Like
That's
it's
right.
not like someone is watching the bets in an algo does it. It spits out the games that they mark. Like, this is suspicious.
Yep.
You can't do it legally. And then if you want to do it illegally, then you're worried about getting your freaking arm broken off by, if you're going to do that sort of gambling and try to rip somebody off in that world who does that. So that's where I just find it like mind boggling. It's like you're not going to get over it. It's not going to happen. It's like, even with, I hate this, not that we're going to talk about crime on this show, but if you're a criminal these days, there's cameras everywhere. They're gonna catch everybody. Like those knuckleheads who, like, they burned part of the Harvard Medical School or something, right? The two dumb kids. It's like there's so many cameras. Hey, there's so the stupidity of the criminal and the criminal mind. And yeah, like you said, the guy's making 7, 8 million a year and then he's doing this to make a 20. Well, because he doesn't want to pay taxes on it.
It's ridiculous. And then on
Oh,
top of it is the
yeah.
jail time that these guys are going to face for doing this.
Well,
They're
right.
going
They'll
to
never get
jail.
it, but yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I mean, the numbers they throw out there are crazy. But you're right. I mean, the point is that all of these people are going to try to plea it down. I thought you were going to go directly for the jugular, and then you can, is the Otani story, which is another thing that you've been talking
Oh
about
my God,
that
please.
that nobody wants to touch with the 20-foot pole. That's our new society. It's like, it's not so obvious that something is up there, but because the guy's like this big star,
Yeah,
he's
that
somehow skating on this. It's quite
Major
amazing. I
League
mean, it's not like he did
Baseball.
something like it's that's the thing. Like, did Otani do something illegal? Is that technically breaking the law to have somebody bet in your name and then you're financing his losses? Right? I mean, it's just like did he
Paul,
technically do something illegal?
Paul, Otani, like I said, and I've said many times, was given a free ride by MLB. Heavy gambler, heavy gambler. There's no way. As I said this a million times, there is no way that he didn't know that this was going on. There's no way that he did not gamble. They swept it under the rug. They swept it under the rug.
It's amazing they got away
It's
with it. It's
amazing he got away with it. He's a glamour boy.
Well, I'll tell you, all these stories and these other sports that are coming out, it could circle back, John. So we'll see how it plays out. So yeah, no, that is the dummies of the week. Yeah, the Chauncey Billups one is just like the arrogance of like getting involved in something like this. And they claim, I mean, again, this is what it was reported that some poker pros who went to play in these games figured it out and like we knew like to stay away from these type of games where they were trying to set up these high roller games, and then there's athletes there. So I think a few of them smoked it out, that they were getting cheated on because they were using the technology, right, with the table underneath, right, showing the cards. I mean, it
Yeah,
was so
X-ray
elaborate.
tables. Well, you know what's funny is there's this episode of Sanford and Son where his son Lamont was gambling with a bunch of guys, and the father kept saying, "Listen, they're cheating," and he ended up losing money. So they sent him out for beer, and he made believe that, oh, I've never gambled before. So he's busy gambling. They pan to the son coming back, and meanwhile he has all the guy's clothes and all the money in his hand. And
Right,
then
right.
he says, Pop, how did you beat these guys? And then he says, take a look at these glasses, and showed all the cards. He could see all the cards. So I said, this reminded me of that because they had exactly that, and they had glasses that you could see the cards.
Fred Sanford. Oh my God, John, that's a good one. You pulled. I kind of believe and I do remember that episode incredibly. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, anyway, let's move on. What else we got? I mean, we got one more. Obviously, got one big subject left. Did you have any other tidbits out there? Because again, folks, this is a kind of a one-off episode. Thanks as always. And as a please, hey, you want to make sure that you see our episodes when we come back in the future. Subscribe to our channels. That's how you get the automated downloads. If you could like episodes, that always helps. It drives the algorithm. And we also wanted to make sure, right, John, that the YouTube algorithm didn't forget about us.
They
So
almost did.
yeah, they almost did. So hopefully people will check out this episode and going forward. Because like I said, we'll be off for a few more weeks and get back. Yeah, right. Maybe for football playoffs. We'll figure it out. But John, we left off a month ago with the death of the New York Mets. And I'm like, I think free agency has started, and that's
It
why
has.
we need you because what sport starts free agency and nothing happens except if it's baseball with Bouk? What do you got?
Well, they have these GM meetings that are starting on Thursday. It's
Okay.
different from the winter meetings. The winter meetings are in December. Uh, the Mets, there's two things the Mets need to do. Number one, they got to sign Diaz 100%. Just the man wants to stay. Give him a couple extra years, couple of extra million per year. You could keep him pretty easily. Alonso's a different story now. Alonso is asking for 7 years, which is outrageous. I would not give him more than 4 to 5 years. And I would just pay max for him 150 million. That's it. I say, Pete, 5 years, 150 million, take it or leave it. They got to do this quickly because if he holds out and he's going to go to Boston, they keep talking about Boston, which would probably be a very good place for him to play. Maybe Chicago may want him if they're willing to, put up with his defensive lapses. But sign those two guys. But you need starting pitching. Desperately needs to, and there's some really good ones out there. As I said, go after Gallen, Zach Gallen. I love him. Dylan Cease, another. Get those two. They're talking about this Skubal trade. Detroit has to be insane if they're going to let go of this. This guy's a bulldog. Man, what I would trade for him. He is a bulldog. I mean, he doesn't go 5 innings, 6 innings. He can pitch complete games for you. All right. They can get him. I'd be the happiest person alive. So starting pitching to me is number one. Number one. Take care of your own guys and get these starting pitchers. I mean, there are some others, but he's already starting the bargain basement crap again because we made a trade with was it the Rays for a 30-year-old right-hander, and then they got this guy Castillo who's a lefty back again off of waivers. I'm like, why are we bothering with these guys? We're never going to hear from them again. I don't know what they're doing. Rarely they've brought him back. Good. Your man Drew Smith, they decided to let him go after all these years. It's your man.
My man. Okay. I don't want
Well,
that. Okay. Good. I know you're kidding. Go.
no. Do we keep Tyler Rogers? For the right price. I mean, listen, you traded stupidly for him. You might as well give him a 1 or 2 year contract if you like to see a submariner. And by the way, the pitch I was talking about that was being threatened was Ryan Stanek. He said he received death threats so many times this year because he used to give up runs or blow saves, and he's like, what do I do for my family? So
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay. We don't
yeah,
want
no,
that.
they had him in. He was the main person in the article. Um, Yankees are in the same boat. They need pitching. I mean, you're not going to get Rodon's not going to really start the year, or Cole or Schmidt. So, they're a little light in starting pitching themselves. So it's a lot of interesting scenarios here. I would really like to get someone like Bo Bichette play second base for the Mets. I would love that kid to play
But
for the
what's the
Mets.
status? What is his status though? What's his status?
He's a free agent.
He
He's
is a free agent.
yeah, he's a free agent.
And does he have like this infamous #1 pick tied to him stuff?
Yes,
Like,
he does. Yes, he
and
does.
that, how does that keep you going after a great player? I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense.
He's only
But
27. He's only 27 years old.
so what's the
He would be perfect at second base. You leave Beatty at third. Just leave Beatty alone. Put him at third base. Leave the kid alone. Okay. Vientos would have to be if they decide to keep Alonso, make Vientos your full-time DH and forget about all this platooning nonsense. Okay. Just let them both stay there. Center field, we need a center fielder. Are they going to bring up the kids from the minors? What are they doing?
No. So who are the top who are the top outfielders available? Do you know offhand or?
It's not much. I mean, nothing that I'm excited about. I mean, again, I like this kid Robert from Chicago. They actually took his option. Yet he didn't have a very good year, but they took his option for the White Sox for $20 million. Still, I think he's worth the risk. He's a talent. That guy's a real talent. I mean, you have Harrison Bader out there again. I mean, nothing of substance as far as I'm concerned.
There's a lot of fourth and fifth outfielders again. So
it's not
guys who can or platoon type.
Well, they have Cody Bellinger. You know that he's probably going to go back to the Yankees.
Who have been.
You got Kyle Tucker, which the Dodgers are probably going to go after him. These are not players the Mets are going after. Do you re-sign? Do you put Starling Marte on your team again for $2-3 million?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, unless if he's willing to take something that little, because he's probably a good clubhouse guy. So, what's the scoop? And I think it's worth mentioning, right? The first base coach is now gone too. So, so what happened there?
So it's pretty funny. I was going to talk about all these crazy managers that were hired. So in Atlanta, they decided to hire Walt Weiss as their manager to replace Snitker, who retired. So Walt Weiss was the bench coach. He was with the Colorado Rockies for a couple of years, did nothing with them. And who did he hire? He hired our Hefner as his pitching coach and Richardson as his first base coach. And when they asked Richardson why he didn't stay with the Mets, he goes, we had good negotiations, but it was a matter of money. I don't like saying this guy's getting all this praise for teaching everyone how to steal bases and you don't keep him. Now what is he going to do? Now we're going to our enemies. It's incredible. You don't think Hefner's going to be sharing all the secrets that he's had over the years of all the pitchers? He can tell them those hitters every single thing about the Mets pitching staff now. And Richardson, same way. Oh, forget it. You think Soto's going to steal anywhere close to 40 bases this year? Never. I'm telling you, that was a bad move. Did not like that when he went.
Well, especially if you're keeping the manager. If you fired the manager and then the staff leaves, okay, that's different. They actually retain the manager, and none of the coaches get I think we said this on the last show before we went off for a while. It's like they scapegoated the other coaches. It's
incredible.
It's an embarrassment. And this guy actually made a contribution, Richardson, and what are you talking about? Money, $100,000? We're talking probably, right? Yeah, that's what you're talking about. We're talking about millions here.
Well, and not only that, I mean, the Mets have a problem with money with one of their coaches who's of value to you. I don't understand this. They made plenty of money. I mean, they had a whole article about how much money the Mets made this year off of ticket sales and merchandise sales. They made a ton of money.
John, every professional team is making a lot of money. That's why they're if these entities were losing money, they would be sold, or they're all making a lot of money. And some of the teams don't spend the money. It's
That's right.
weird because the Mets are a spender. They spend money, but again, little things, right? It's just these like little weird things that that could impact your team. It makes no sense. So yeah, I don't know, John. The Mets, man, they got to bring Pete back. I know like what you're saying, and he probably won't get 7 years from somebody. I don't know how nobody signed. I still can't believe nobody signed him last year. I know it's something you and I, we do say stuff all and over again, but we can't help ourselves because we still can't believe it. And that other, you think like everybody, who does this for a living would be smart enough sometimes, but in professional sports, there's a lot of incompetence
Oh
across the
yeah.
board, right? It's
Well, I mean,
amazing.
if you look, just to mention a couple of the managers that were hired. Okay, so Schumacher, I liked. He did a great job with the Marlins. Just terrible ownership there. The Rangers ended up signing him as their new manager. That's a good move. But then look at these other retreads so they got this. Get about Walt Weiss, who was not a very good manager with the Rockies. Then you have this guy Shelton, who was supposed to be like the hot prospect manager all these years. He was with the Pirates for 6 years. 6 years. Did they win? Were they ever over 500? No. Well, another reason why is they didn't really spend money there. So the Twins take him. But now the Twins are almost like the same thing as the Pirates now because they've gotten rid of all, if not most of their high paid players. And he's been rehired. And then these other off the wall hirings. This guy Vitello, he was a college coach.
He's
The
there.
Giants hired him. He's never managed in the major leagues, minor leagues, coming right out of college. Then you have this guy Butera, 33 years old, was hired by the Nationals. And what's his managing experience? 4 single A years. A manager
Well,
of an 18 for 4 years.
well, his dad played in MLB, right? That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The immortal Sal Butera, if I remember. I think
That's
was he
right.
a weak hitting catcher for the Twins, right?
That's
So,
right. That's right. And then
John,
you have
hey,
this, and then you
yes,
got this guy Alberna, 43 years old. The Orioles hired him. 2 years at single A, then Stammen with the Padres. But there was another thing that happened that didn't get much uh, publicity. Is after the World Series, Mattingly actually left the Blue Jays,
he did. Yes,
and his son is actually the GM of the Phillies right now, Preston Mattingly.
I did not know that.
So there
Okay.
is a possible. I think that there's something going on there. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Mattingly become a coach with the Phillies, because that was really strange that he left the Blue Jays right after the World Series, and now that his son is the GM, I'm
Did
thinking,
he? Okay. So he just got that job. He just got the Phillies job.
no, 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 no. I'm thinking that he's going to
No, no,
go to
no.
the
His
Phillies.
kid, his kid just got the GM job.
He was in it last year.
Oh, last year was his first year,
Yeah, yeah, he
and
was in
luckily
it.
for us, they fell short, so that's good.
Yeah,
And yeah, so Zach Wheeler, is he coming? I guess he's not going to be pitching this year, right? Is he already?
yeah, yeah. He'll be out. He'll
I
be
don't know. Do
out.
you want to mention the World Series? I mean, I think
Yeah,
quickly. I mean,
great World Series.
John Yamamoto, who the Mets were this much, and he struggled his first year, right? He was not
Yeah,
good his first year. Guy had a what? I mean, John, you're an old pitcher. The guy threw like what 87 pitches, and he came back the next day
yeah,
and
yeah.
threw what 3 shutout innings. I mean, what a performance!
But the thing is, the Blue Jays absolutely should have won that series.
Yeah, agreed. I was just the
That
outstanding
seventh
thing.
game, that the one thing that no one is, they only started talking. I wish that we had the this podcast after the World Series, because what I was screaming about is Kiner Falafel, I'll call him, is on third base. The bases are loaded. Okay, one out. The infield's in. This is the World Series now. This going to be the end of the game here. Takes. He was off of the third base maybe 5-6 feet. And you know how when the pitcher throws the ball, you have to take a secondary lead. You got to get off of the bag. He never did. So when the ball got hit to Rojas, and Rojas, it seemed like forever that a kind of falafel was trying to run home. I'm saying to myself, where the hell is he? He should have scored easily on this. They get him by inches. Then when they asked him, and they realized it a couple of days later, they didn't take a lead at all. He goes, well, the coaches told us that we have to stay close to the bag in case there's a line drive and we're doubled off. I'm like, what are you kidding me? What kind of stupidity is that? And not only that, since it's not a tag play, you're freaking running full speed through the bag. You're not sliding. What are you doing? Run right through it. Oh my God, they just blew that game. And then, of course, that crazy catch in the outfield that the two outfielders collided over there. I mean,
it's aforementioned Paez, whatever, right? Made that.
Oh my
play,
God. I mean, the
over.
Blue Jays had so many chances to win that 7th game.
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was
exciting. Exciting. I haven't heard from the Canadians yet. I think they're still crying because I did text them and said the Blue Jays played great. Have not heard from them. So.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's the Canadians thought they were going to steal America's Games championship. Dodgers go back to back. Baseball's got a huge problem with balance competition wise. I mean, it's a problem, but they had a great year, right? They had great ratings. So
yeah, actually 27 million people watched Game 7. And they said if you included Japan in that, it was 51 million people watched Game 7. That's a big audience.
Yeah. And
that's double the NBA. That's double the NBA Game 7.
Hey, that's good to see, man. It's good to see baseball making a comeback. They've made some changes. We've joked about the changes they're making for next year, but again, things to talk about in the future. That's what's kind of cool about us just kind of parachuting in for an episode. And it really is driven by our NFL team being nowhere, and even the Giants too. I mean, we love the NFL, but I mean, to talk about other teams each week, there's not much to say. So the next time, folks, you hear from us, the NBA and the NHL season will be much deeper. And then maybe, we'll know a little more about where the Jets and the Giants will be picking in the draft. And like I said earlier, the college football playoff around the holidays, of course, is always something to watch this year for prospects for the Jets to maybe pull off a miracle and finally find a quarterback. So, John, before we say goodnight, what else? Do you have anything else you wanted to bring out?
No, that's about it. I mean, we'll keep an eye out on the Mets and Yankees and see what goes on. I mean, there should be some activity pretty soon. I mean, we'll see some activity within the next 2-3 weeks.
All right. Well, if as needed, we'll be dropping episodes if something huge happens, or we just get bored and we want to talk some sports. I might be in a sling, so it might not look that great. So, as always, John, who do you got to thank?
Thank you to our producer, Zach Zubulake, and to our loyal listeners and viewers. We really appreciate you watching and listening to us. Also, thanks to our community partners, Ronald McDonald House, Kids in Seats, and the Jackie Robinson Foundation.